Before we had driving licenses, before we understood insurance, before we knew that crashing into 14 police cars would probably affect the resale value, we had Rockport, a city where speed was a language, police chases were a lifestyle, and one blue and silver BMW became more important to us than most real cars we had ever seen. This was Need for Speed Most Wanted. Not just a racing game, it was the first time many of us felt completely uncatchable. The moment you entered Rockport, the city already felt like trouble. The roads looked permanently wet. The sky always looked like it had unfinished business. Every highway invited you to make terrible decisions at high speed, and every tunnel just seemed to always whisper to you, hey, go faster, nothing bad will happen. Don't worry about it, just go faster, a little faster, a little faster. See, something bad always happened. But that was the magic. Rockport was not a place you calmly explored, you attacked it. Every corner became a challenge. Every straight road became a test of courage. Every traffic car became an innocent person who had made the unfortunate decision to exist in your lane. And somewhere behind you, the police are already becoming emotionally invested in your case. Like, let me be, please. The BMW M3 GTR, blue stripes, silver body, the kind of engine sound that made an entire generation believe they understood cars. We did not know the horsepower, we did not know the engineering. We barely knew what torque meant, but we knew one thing: the car was special. It was not just transportation, it was revenge with headlights. And when Razor took it from us, it became personal. We were children sitting in bedrooms holding plastic controllers, but suddenly we had a mission. The mission was not to save the world, not to rescue a kingdom, but to get our car back. And somehow, that felt more urgent. The Blacklist made every race feel like climbing a mountain built from ego. 15 racers stood between you and Razor. Each one had a car, an attitude, and the confidence of someone who had never considered losing. You started at the bottom, unknown, disrespected, driving whatever you could afford. And slowly, name by name, race by race, you climbed. Sony, Taz, Vic, Earl, Baron, Ming, Webster, JV, Ronnie, and finally, Razor. Every rival felt like a boss battle. Not because they were always brilliant drivers. Sometimes they drove directly into traffic and solved the problem for you. But because beating them meant progress. You were no longer just racing. You were building a reputation. And for a child, there are few things more powerful than watching a game finally admit, yes, you have become dangerous. But yeah, I do admit, racing was only half the experience. The real chaos began when the police arrived. At first, one patrol car would appear. You would smile. Okay, just one car for me. Cute. Then two cars came. Then roadblocks. Then spike strips. Then SUVs started launching themselves at you like the police department had completely abandoned health and safety regulations. And suddenly, the race no longer mattered. You were fighting for survival. The radio was shouting. Helicopters were above you. Police cars were forming walls. Your car was damaged. Your hands were sweating. And someone in the room was screaming, turn left, turn left, turn left, turn left. There was no left on that turn. What left are you talking about? The only thing to the left of you was a concrete wall. But somehow, those chases made us feel alive. The longer they lasted, the more impossible escape became. And the more impossible it became, the more we refused to stop. Need for Speed taught us that the correct response to police pressure was not surrender. It was architecture. You would see a giant structure beside the road and think, that looks expensive. Then drive directly through it. A fuel station has collapsed and is in flames. A giant sign fell. Half of Rockport's infrastructure disappeared. And somehow, that is when the police decided this was enough. In the game, these things are called pursuit breakers. We call them that thing you hit when everything has gone terribly wrong. There was nothing more satisfying than watching a group of police cars disappear beneath a falling structure, then driving away at high speed as though you had handled the situation responsibly. And then there was the garage, the sacred place where taste went to die. We entered with a normal car and left with bright paint, enormous spoilers, neon confidence, and wheels large enough to affect the weather. Every child became a designer, a very dangerous designer. We changed the paint, added vinyls, adjusted the rims, installed performance upgrades we did not understand, and stared at the final result with complete certainty. Like, this is the greatest car I have ever created. There's no car like this in the entire world. Look at my car. Look at what I made. Look, yours look terrible. Look at this. Look at this rainbow-looking car. Isn't that how a car's body should be? Isn't that how what a car should look like? And look at the sound. Hear the sound. Do you hear that? That's my car. We were all proud parents. And in fairness, the car probably looked terrible, but it was ours. That mattered. The garage was where imagination became metal, where an ordinary car became your car. Not because it was the fastest, not because it was the most expensive, but because you have chosen every ridiculous, terrible detail yourself. Most Wanted understood that speed was not just something you saw, it was something you felt. The camera began to shake, the road blurred, the engine screamed, the world became narrowed until there was nothing except the next corner. You leaned forward in your seat as though that would make the car faster. And yeah, everyone did this. Don't tell me that you didn't do exactly the same thing. You were not physically inside the vehicle, but your body had not received the information yet. And when the music started doing a race, that was it. It's done. It's forgotten. Everything else is out the window. Homework was forgotten. Dinner became negotiable because who is hungry when you're trying to win a race? Like, yo, focus, man. Even time stopped behaving normal. One race became 5, 5 became 10, and suddenly someone was shouting from another room, "Are you still playing that game?" Yes, of course I am. Rockport needed me. It needed us. But also, Most Wanted knew how to hot us. You could lead an entire race. Perfect corners, perfect shortcuts, perfect concentration. Then near the finish line, a delivery van appeared. Not a police car, not Razor, not Destiny, a random van. Suddenly your rival passed you, the race ended, and you stared at the screen, wondering what personal problem that van driver had with your future. Or even worse, you survived a 20-minute police chase, you avoided spike strips, escaped roadblocks, destroyed half the city, then reversed into a wall 3 seconds later, and then busted. That word had weight. Yeah, I mean the word busted. It carried a lot of weight. It did not simply mean you lost. It meant that the game had watched your heroic performance and decided that the final memory would be embarrassment. But beneath the noise, the crashes and the police sirens, Most Wanted was a story about taking something back that was precious to you. Your car, your reputation, your place at the top. You began with almost nothing. You were mocked, betrayed, pushed to the bottom, and every race was one step upward. Maybe that was why it connected with so many of us. As children, the world often made us feel small, too young to drive, too young to choose where we went, too young to choose what we want to hit, too young to control much of anything. But inside Rockport, we decided the route, we chose the car, we faced the rivals, we outran the police, and for a few hours, nobody could tell us where to go or what to do because nobody could catch us. Years later, we remember more than the races. We remember the sound of the console starting, the controller in our hands, the loading screen, the first car we customized, the rival we could not beat, the chase that lasted forever, the friend beside us shouting directions that made absolutely no sense and made everything even worse. We remember wanting cars we could not afford, dreaming about roads that we have never driven, and believing that one day maybe we would own something that made us feel the same way that BMW did. Need for Speed Most Wanted was not only about being fast, it was about feeling free. It was about starting at the bottom and refusing to stay there. It was about looking into the rearview mirror, seeing an entire police department behind you, and still pressing the accelerator. Some games gave us worlds to explore, some gave us stories to follow, but Most Wanted gave us a road and made us believe nothing could stop us. So tell me, what was your favorite car in Need for Speed Most Wanted? Which Blacklist rival gave you the most trouble? And most importantly, was this the racing game that raised you?